The political plotting secrets were leaked today in Port Harcourt as Governor Wike and the House of Reps Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila confers on the twists and turns in political happenings in Nigeria. And tonight we will be speaking with Senator Dino, Melaye, the spokesperson of Atiku and the PDP Presidential Campaign Organization. Atiku, PDP, and the undercurrent, some of the issues that have been raised, and the Atiku's ambition. What a beautiful Friday evening is it for us here, because it was a raining day in the FET Abuja. We're to welcome you to the program this evening, everyone. I'm Melaye. First and foremost, let's keep tabs on the countdown that we have always. We will not keep quiet until this has been settled. We continue with the countdown over the strike action by the university lecturers. It's 181 days since university lecturers in federal universities in the country began the strike action, keeping students away from the classrooms. The standoff between the federal government and the university lecturers continue, and the students continue to be idle. President Buhari gave a 2-week ultimatum to the Minister of Education to ensure the standoff is resolved. Well, it's over 3 weeks now since that order was given, but no word, nothing has been heard as far as resolution in that matter. Nigerians are looking forward to the stakeholders getting their acts together to resolve what has become a national embarrassment. Tonight, it is going to be a chance of reply from the PDP and the spokesperson of the Atiku Presidential Campaign Organization. Exactly 1 week ago, the spokesperson of the Tinubu and APC Presidential Campaign Organization, Mr. Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, was on the program, and we promised you that we will get the PDP and Senator Dino Melaye to give us their own side of the conversation, and that's what we'll do tonight. But before we get into all of the other stories and the PDP and the campaign and Atiku Abubakar, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
President Muhammadu Buhari has lamented the multiple challenges of insurgency, banditry and kidnapping facing the country, which he says have stretched the utilization of security agencies and other resources. Speaking at the launch of a National Crisis Management Doctrine at the State House today, he explains that due to the challenges, the Office of a National Security Advisor revised the National Counterterrorism Strategy, which he launched in August 2016.
The emergence of the Boko Haram terrorists group, as well as bandits and kidnappers in Nigeria, considerably changed the country's security situation, leaving panic in the minds of the populace.
And the governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma, was in the presidential villa where he met with President Buhari behind closed doors. The International Youth Day is celebrated at 2 different venues in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, today. One inside the Government House Banquet Hall and the other at a private event center in Ilorin. That of the banquet hall is well attended by government officials and youths. Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak notes that having a larger young population is an opportunity for growth and prosperity.
There's no way in the world where there are no conversations about the future of the young people, which is very important and urgent to us all.
At the other Youth Day celebration, speakers harp on the need for youth to look out for certain sterling qualities in leaders. These include character, courage, and competence.
If you do not have character, you cannot lead anybody anywhere. It is character that makes you take those decisions, difficult decisions.
The demography of most countries of the developing world is tilting towards the youth.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has raised concerns over citizens' political apathy as reflected in the collection of registered PVCs, despite ample time given for the exercise. This was disclosed in Yola, the Adamawa State capital, during a town hall meeting of civil society organizations with INEC and other stakeholders to discuss the role of various stakeholders in improving civil participation in political processes. According to INEC, despite recording over 95 million number of PVC collection, citizens still need to show more enthusiasm in politics. The Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Shuaibu, is confident that the People's Democratic Party will change Nigeria for the better, saying the ruling All Progressives Congress APC has not fulfilled promises made to Nigerians when they came into power in 2015. Mr. Shuaibu states this shortly after receiving defectors from the APC in the 64 wards of Edo North Senatorial District in Benin City.
This time, we are changing the change. We are now what? Changing the change. Because the change could not change anything. It did destroy Nigeria instead.
The Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, Chris Finebone, has dumped the party for the People's Democratic Party. The pictures of Mr. Finebone standing in a group photograph with Governor Wike and others trended online last night. The others in the picture are the PDP governorship candidate in Rivers State, Melaye Fubara, and the pioneer chairman of the APC, Davis Okanya Ibiamu, who had since joined the PDP. This morning, Mr. Chris Finebone confirmed to Channels Television that he joined the PDP to support the PDP governorship candidate, who is his kinsman from Opobo.
Thank you so much. There you are. You've been served with your political roundup stories, and I hope that you are now up to date. Let's tell you, River State is being a beehive of political activities recently, a mecca of some sort, with the kind of visitors that it has welcomed recently. It was another day of project commissioning in River State as Governor Wike continues to invite guests and welcome them from across the political aisle to help cut tapes. But before today's tape cutting event, the guest, the speaker, was the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. It was a subject of the discussion when the Governor, Wike, went to the rostrum and was delivering his speech. And he had some confessions to make about him not supporting his speakership ambition. Take a listen to Governor Wike.
And quality project delivery.
I was one of those who plotted that you should not be speaker. I have no regret because my business is not to help your party that time, even now. My business is to make people uncomfortable. So I was supporting, it was in Government House Lodge, River State, in Abuja. When we plotted, you should not go. We plotted. PDP people, governors sold me out. They supported you. Even when we have agreed that the Femi should not go, Lawan should not go, as a party, they went back and supported you. And that was how you made Ndudelimedu the minority leader. Even when we wrote you a letter, that's not what we wanted. You know, people don't like the truth, but the truth must be told at all times.
Well, thanks, Governor Wike, on why he did not support Femi Gbajabiamila as the speaker. Now, when it was the turn of the Speaker of the House, in his speech, the House of Rep Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila encouraged Governor Wike to choke his detractors. He told Governor Wike that the same people who formed a plot to stop his speakership ambition were the same people who betrayed the River State governor at the PDP presidential primary. Let me allow you to listen from Mr. Gbajabiamila.
And let me very quickly start off my remarks by thanking the governor, my friend and brother, for a confession that has been known to all forever, that you plotted against me. It is the irony of life and indeed very interesting, the twist of fate. That those who you sat with to plot against me are the same people that sat together at your primaries to plot against you. So plotting is not necessarily a new thing in politics.
All right, so the twists get on now. Things getting interesting right now. Every day there seems to be some very much interesting stories. Oh man, I just love covering politics. Now, that was not all. Governor Wike is also reacting to the reports of a lawsuit that was said to have been instituted by him against Atiku Abubakar. Governor Wike said the publications were the handiwork of his detractors, who he said are supporters of the presidential candidate of his party, Atiku Abubakar. Wike went on to say to dismiss both reports as false and warned they said Atiku supporters to allow him concentrate on governance. Let me allow you to listen to him.
I have told the candidates, you will lose this election, you will win this election, because of people around you. Anybody who knows me knows too well. If I was going to court, I would have gone to court within 2 weeks after the primaries, because it is a pre-election matter. And after 2 weeks, he can't go to court. The legal advisor of the party called me and told me he knows that there's a mischief going on, that he knows me very well. If I'm going to court, it's not those kind of lawyers I would have used. And I don't even know the lawyers. But I want to tell the candidate, it is the candidate group that are doing all these things. Let the world hear. They are the ones plotting all these things, thinking that they will spoil my name. You cannot. Yesterday they said, I removed all PDP flags in River State Government House. We are supposed to be talking about how you win an election. It's not about these run seekers around people. They are not doing him any favor.
All right, then you have it. So it gives us an opportunity for us to get our conversation started. I mean, that could have been talked in some part of our conversation, but since this is like the news today, it's a good point for us to begin. Now, let's get talking. Last week, we hosted the spokesperson of the APC, Mr. Festus Keyamo, and we promised you that we will bring the spokesperson of the Atiku and the PDP campaign organization after the online post. Well, I showed you that, was it on Monday or Tuesday when he came up? Now, tonight, Senator Dino Melaye joins me live in our Abuja studio, and he will be speaking on some of these issues that have cropped up. He's the Atiku Abubakar Presidential Campaign Organization spokesperson. Thank you so much, distinguished Senator, for coming tonight.
Yeah, good evening, Sheung, and good evening, Nigerians.
I think it's a good point for us to allow you to react to what Governor Wike said today.
Yeah, all I just have to say is that there is no animosity like that between Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and Governor Wike. I will tell you that talks are ongoing and we are making progress. And I believe that by the grace of God, PDP will remain one strong, united political party. But I just want to say that the insinuation that it is people from Atiku's camp that went to court will not be correct, because we are interested in building our party. We are interested in reconciliation. We are interested in unifying the party. We are interested in unifying Nigerians. So nobody will want to. I mean, to what benefit or advantage is it going to court and mentioning Governor Wike's name from the Atiku's camp? Whoever the detractors is, they have failed, because Governor Wike is a party man. He's come out already to debunk it. And We are for negotiation and reconciliation, and Atiku Abubakar is open to that.
Before I get into all the other parts of this, has your camp been able to investigate who is behind the lawsuit?
Anyway, we, just like every other person, we read it on the pages of newspapers and on the social media. But I am sure that we will get to the bottom of it. Those who filed this case didn't drop from heaven. They have names, and they must have sworn either on affidavits or deportation before filing the case. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Does it bother you?
But I assure you that you know Waziri Atiku Abubakar, very humane character, very, very simple, easygoing man. He is for reconciliation, and he's met with Governor Wike, and talks are ongoing, and there will be no problem at the end of the day.
Does it bother or worry your camp, Atiku Abubakar, and some of you who are working closely with him, that this sort of thing is happening? It portrays a house that is under fire. That is on fire,
not exactly. There's no point magnifying it, because democracy is noisy. And this is what you are saying is just the noise of democracy. Democracy is noisy by nature. And what you are saying is not abnormal. Definitely after every primary elections, there will be agitations, there will be questions, there will be reason to sit down and judge. And that is what is going on. There's nothing abnormal going on. And I assure you that the PDP remain a big, strong, and reliable political party. By the grace of the Almighty God, will win elections. And we are rather busy with how we want to ameliorate the problem of this country, how we want to make sure that the Atiku Okowa ticket, restore the long-lost reputation of this country.
So when you said you're working to fix the relationship between your principal and Governor Wike, a lot of Nigerians will want to know the update in that respect, because it was a broken relationship. How far has it worked? The last time we understand that the meeting held at the home of Professor Jerry Gana, but it doesn't look like the outcome was favorable to either party. So what is going on right now?
I can assure you that we are making tremendous progress. And I can assure you that we are all going to work together. Governor Wike is a fantastic party man. Governor Wike is a leader of this party. And Governor Wike is one of those who are extremely tired of the satanic manifestation of the APC government. And there's no way we will not work together. And I can tell you on good authority that we are making very, very serious progress. And the talks is, there's a communication between Atiku Abubakar and Governor Wike. And those taking Panadol for another man's headache should just shove aside.
Has there been, because we understand now that there seems to be some people that Waziri Atiku Abubakar sent to Wike to beg him. Is that true?
That's on the social media. I'm telling you, you don't need to send anybody to Governor Wike, because they are communicating.
When I speak with you, Senator, I don't talk about social media. I don't live my life there. I visit it, but I don't live my life there. I'm talking as a professional. And I'm talking about what I hear as a professional. Has there been any kind of, when you say there are communications...
What you hear may not be correct.
Okay,
and
so give us the true state of
spokesperson of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, I'm telling you now that there is a direct discussion between Governor Wike and Atiku Abubakar.
So there are no go-betweens, no proxies?
Every PDP member who wants us to move forward can intervene.
Give us a sense, because, perhaps some Nigerians may be tired of listening and hearing about this Atiku-Wike rivalry or disagreement.
There's no rivalry.
There's no rivalry.
If
there's no rivalry, so
there's
what
no
exactly?
Rivalry,
so why are you communicating? Why are you trying
there's
to
no rivalry, and
reach
there's
out?
no cause for rivalry between Atiku and Governor Wike. Yeah, Governor Wike have his own misgivings, you know, and and he's entitled to it, and he's complained about one or two things, and he's entitled to it.
What are these things?
And
what are these things, Senator?
I will not want to go into details of what he's complaining about, but he is aggrieved with one or two issues. And this communication, like I said, there's been communication between Governor Wike and Atiku Abubakar. And it did not stop at that. They are still talking. We will continue to talk. Like I said, people are over-escalating the situation. People are trying to buy in to create unnecessary political havoc, but they will not succeed because we know Governor Wike as a progressive character who believes in the unity and prosperity of the PDP. And I want to tell you that Atiku Abubakar that you know will not keep mute in the face of these misgivings. And like I said, in a matter of days, we'll be fine. And we are all going to work together to chase the APC out of Aso Rock.
I'm very sure that Nigerians may be tired of internal wranglings. They just want politicians or candidates who are serious about the issues brought Nigerians, the challenges Nigerians are facing, and who has a solution to some of these issues.
And that's why I'm saying that we are not distracted in any way, because it's not stopping us from moving forward. It's not stopping us from discussing, because there's no issue in urban issue. It is normal, like I told you, democracy is noisy. Democracy is about, at times, disagreement. But that disagreement does not mean that we are now going to pull down the roof. Governor Wike will not pull down the roof of the PDP. He will not do that. Atiku Abubakar will not even allow anybody, not even only Governor Wike, to pull down the roof of the PDP. So I'm telling you that the PDP is one big, reliable family. All these distractions are minor distractions, and by the grace of God, with the level of talks that I know is taking place, there is no cause for alarm. Nigerians should be relaxed, and rather, we should focus ourselves in bringing back, again, I say, the long-lost reputation of this country, to restore security in this country, to work on our economy, and then take over government.
All right. So at this point, some of us will care less about what goes on in your party. We care more about what is happening in the polity and who is there to have solutions for some of these problems. Now, let's look at what was said. The capacity of your principal, Atiku Abubakar, has been questioned. Last week on the program, Mr. Keyamo said that your candidate and your principal lacks the executive capacity. He's never had that experience. He was a vice president. Well, don't let me talk too much about that. I mean, we still have that tape. I'd like you to listen in case for those who have forgotten or who didn't catch that interview. There's an opportunity for you to be reminded of what was said by Mr. Festus Keyamo last week. Take a listen to him.
The job of the president is to listen to the experts and to make the final call. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu have the capacity to make the final call. The major rival we have today has not held any executive position where he makes the final call in government. So we cannot second guess. Atiku Abubakar has never held any government position where he makes the final call. He was vice president. He was not the chief executive. He was never governor. He was never anything. Even Peter Obi is ahead of Atiku Abubakar. Peter Obi is ahead of him in terms of the capacity to make decisions. So how are we going to hand over the country to somebody who has never shown the capacity, who has never held a position where he makes the final call? A vice president does not make the final call. Atiku Abubakar is not tested, is not trusted.
There you have it, Senator Melaye. First and foremost, now, he said he's not tested, he's not trusted. What do you have to tell Nigerians in that respect?
Anyway, I would just want to react quickly by saying that Festus Keyamo definitely is suffering from limitation of vocabulary, because I don't think he understands, or he had a elucidation of the phrases he used on Atiku Abubakar. Because even on a drunken state, nobody will say Atiku has not been tested or trusted, because there are plethora of evidence and activities to buttress that point. So I just want to believe that it's either Festus was asleep, or is suffering from limitation of vocabulary. He didn't know the right vocabulary to use, or misused that vocabulary. But definitely, no sane Nigerian will say Atiku has not been tested or is not trusted. And if you look at the government of Atiku Abubakar and Olusegun Obasanjo, for example, let us look at in the area of average GDP growth in terms of percentage. Under the Obasanjo-Atiku administration, it was 7.7%. Under the Yaradua, it was 7.1. Under Goodluck Jonathan, it was 5.5. Under the APC government that Keyamo is part of, is 1.1%. I'm saying that the government that Atiku was the brain box, was part of, it was 7.7. Then come back again to talk about the average inflation ratio. Under Obasanjo-Atiku government, it was 12.19. Under Yaradua, it was 13.18. Under Goodluck Jonathan, it was 9.7. Then come to look at it under Buhari, is 14.07. Again, look at percentage in terms of exchange rates. Under the Atiku Obasanjo government, it was 26. Under Yaradua, it was 27.4. Under Jonathan, it was 63.5. Under Buhari, it was 150.2.
All right. Now,
so I'm just giving you this indices analysis for you to know what the administration of Obasanjo Atiku gave to Nigerians. And again, a man who has managed his businesses, Atiku is a champion in the manufacturing sector, is a champion in the logistics sector, is a champion in the banking sector, is a champion in the education sector, is a champion. He has succeeded. He has transformed 5 naira to 15 naira. Atiku have demonstrated that outside office, he has the capacity and capability to manage international businesses, and he has succeeded. But Keyamo, who is a democratic virgin, who has never won an election anywhere, not even councillorship election, he has never even won a primary election before. He may not understand the doctrines and tenets of democracy, not to talk of political participation. So he can sit down and say whatever he wants to say. But no sane Nigerian who is not under influence will disparage the person or personality of Atiku Abubakar.
All right. So let's put it in perspective and in context. So the argument by the learned Sikh, Festus Keyamo, at the time of that interview, was the fact that he feels Peter Obi and Bola Tinubu was once chief executive of their states. They served as 2-term governors. In that sense, they held sway. They were the ones in charge. And as far as he is concerned, he doesn't think that there's been any time that Atiku Abubakar has been able to hold sway and be in charge as the chief executive of Nigeria. And that was the reason why he said he's not been tested, he's not been trusted.
Again, I want to tell you that it is a myopic expression. And it is surprising that an SAN, somebody who is SAN, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who passed through the law school, will not understand elementary, constitutional democracy. You talk about vice presidents. It's a chief executive position. Whether you like it or not, is the number 2 position in this country. And it's not just a portfolio, it also have oversight responsibilities over some MDAs, ministry, department, and agencies of government. And there are times that the president, there are many times that the president traveled. Obasanjo traveled a lot of times, where Atiku Abubakar was in charge.
Has any point in time that Atiku Abubakar became acting president?
I would not recall if there was a transmission to the National Assembly, but definitely you knew that Atiku Abubakar sat over a lot of.
So the question is, the buck has never stopped on his table. That's the question. As a vice president, he believes, and that is the argument.
That is the myopic argument.
And it will be good if you can, just a moment, it will be good if you can clarify and make that defense, because the point is making that he was a number 2 man. Not at any point that he was able to take charge as a number 1, unlike Peter Obi, who was a number 1 president in Anambra State, and Bola Tinubu as a number 1 president in Lagos State.
I will start by telling you that Lagos is not Nigeria, to start with. And it will be a very myopic, porous, and intellectually stagnant argument for you to begin to say, because you are a governor, it's a prerequisite then for you to have administrative prowess over a country like Nigeria. A man who is vice president, who was vice president, and a very sound one for that matter, definitely took executive decisions. Even issues were referred to his office many a times from the office of the president. So it is appalling, laughable, that for whatever frivolous reasons, an educated Nigerian will come to a national TV and disparage the office of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is an exalted office. And if he likes it or not, that's the number 2 position in this country with enormous responsibilities. So to disparage that office is not disparaging Atiku.
Can Nigerians trust
I'm coming, please.
the number 1 office into the hands of Atiku Abubakar? That's the question now.
Nigerians definitely can trust the number 1 office to Atiku Abubakar because he has the experience, have the capacity, he knows this country better than any of these candidates.
Has he made final calls on national issues?
I'm coming. Number 2, if you see, I watched the interview and I saw where Keyamo was talking about Bola Tinubu being a hunter of men and resources, being a good manager of men and resources. And I begin to ask myself, if Tinubu is that a good manager of men and resources, how come he discovered Ambody and himself again plotted the removal of Ambody? How come he's a good manager of men and resources? He picked a governor in Osun who performed so woefully that by electoral mandate and decisions was outvoted and sent out of Osun, replaced by Adeleke. If he's a good manager of man and resources, in the Fourth Republic, he's the only governor who handpicked 2 deputy governors and plotted the impeachment of these 2 deputy governors. Even Fashola escaped by whiskers, getting a 2nd term. So you cannot say a man like that is a manager of... And another argument that Keyamo has been parading everywhere is that Tinubu increased the IGR in Lagos. It is true that Tinubu increased the IGR in Lagos. But as at the time Tinubu became governor in 1999, Lagos state debt was $200 million. By the time he was leaving in 2007, the debt of Lagos state rose to billions of dollars. And if you just oppose the 2 together, the debt and the IGR, it left Lagos state, understand, in serious minus and negative.
All right.
You cannot be talking about governance.
I was looking...
And you will relate Tinubu and Atiku together. They are not on the same... In fact, let me just say it clearly, lions and dogs don't mingle. They don't.
I was looking for a resting point so that we can take a breather. So we'll take a break, Senator. And when we come back, the issue of capacity. I mean, you are Nigerians. You are the ones, you are the judge here. You'll be the one to decide. You'll be the one to get the vote. So when the issues of capacity come in this 2023 game, who is your vote for? And we continue the conversation on the issue of capacity and the solution. Who has it as we look ahead to 2023? Stay with me, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on the program. Senator Dino Melaye, spokesperson of the Atiku PDP Presidential Campaign Council, has been speaking with us on the ambition of his principal and the candidate of the People's Democratic Party. I think we're almost exhausting that line of conversation. But there is this side that I'd like you to also touch on, which was also mentioned by Mr. Festus Keyamo. He also said that, in fact, Peter Obi is ahead of your principal.
In fact, that is the most ridiculous thing I've heard in recent times. And it's not only ridiculous, I sympathize with Festus Keyamo because for me, this is a beer parlor discussion. And I want to tell you that even in the prison yard, there are seniorities. There's seniority. You cannot even be talking of, I'm sure he just said that out of influence because he couldn't have said that at all. I mean, it's even you sitting here, Sheung, I don't know where that is coming from. The truth of the matter is that Tinubu and Peter Obi are no match in any manner with Atiku Abubakar. What will Tinubu or APC sell when in 2007, when Obasanjo was leaving government, external debt was $3 billion. When Yar'Adua came, and may his soul rest in peace, external debt was 10 billion. During Jonathan's administration, external debt was 15 billion. Today, it is $40 billion. As I speak to you, separate or rather minus revenue from external debt or minus external debt from revenue. During Obasanjo, he left $40.17 billion. When you subtract the external debt from revenue, he still had $40.17 billion. During Yar'Adua, if you subtract external debt from revenue, he is still left with 22.34 billion. During Jonathan, he left with 13.27 billion. Today, in this present administration, that Keyamo is telling Nigerians that Tinubu wants to continue exactly what Buhari has done and is doing. If you subtract external debt under Buhari's administration today from revenue, what you have is minus 0.82%.
So the question will be that...
We are living in negative.
The question is that the price of oil, which is our mainstay, at a time when Obasanjo, Atiku, Yar'Adua...
Do you know what the price of oil is now?
Just a moment. At that time, compared to
now.
In the last 5 or 6 years,
do you know what the price of oil?
Do you know what this is now? That will be the argument of the APC.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you now. Do you know what the price of oil is now? Those indices are different. Do you know what the global price is right now? Over 100? When that time it was 70-something, 80-something. Today we have it has been steady for some time. Over 100. Yet their performance is a beautiful nonsense. You cannot give what you don't have. A government in the entire economic fabric of this government, in the entire economic system of the APC and Buhari's administration, there's no single economist.
All right. Now, let's move on.
No single economist.
Let's move on to some other issues. We have quite a long list of areas that we need to touch on. Now, it is a competition right now because you're competing for the attention and the votes of Nigerians. There are those who are very close to your principal who have said the confidence coming out of Atiku Abubakar this time around is over 300% higher than what they saw in 2019. What is giving your principal that kind of confidence this time around?
Because we have done the numbers.
So what are the numbers saying?
We have carried out a lot of intellectual work. We've carried out opinion polls. We've interacted with the people. And this government, I repeat again, this government marketed Atiku. By their colossal failure, they've marketed Atiku. And today, the most difficult candidate to sell is any APC candidate, whether at councillorship level, House of Assembly, House of Rep or Senate, or governorship. And that is why you cannot defend Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You cannot promote Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You cannot campaign for Bola Ahmed Tinubu and not look stupid. And that was what happened to my brother and friend, Festus Keyamo, when he started talking off point, started saying things that do not make any sense, talking about ASU and saying they want to go and beg, talking about Christian, and he was giving a lot of very silly, intellectually stagnant, myopic expressions Because it is difficult, my brother, for you to market something that is not marketable. So what I'm saying in essence is that from Atiku's postulation, from Atiku's documents that he wants to use to rescue this country, you can see decisiveness. You can see thoroughness. You can see sincerity of purpose. You can see somebody who understands this country and the problems of this country. Atiku started talking about restructuring when it was not safe for any northerner to talk about restructuring. When it was very difficult for any northerner to talk about restructuring, Atiku spoke about restructuring. He did not just speak about restructuring. He wrote a book on restructuring. Atiku prepared himself for today. Even in the last 2 years, he's the only presidential candidate who has gone to update his education, obtained a master's from a university in Cambridge. So who is more prepared in terms of experience, in terms of versatility, in terms of contacts? Is also a talent hunter. The major problem with this country is nepotism. And that is what is happening in this APC administration. They give carpentry job to tailors. Atiku will come and put square pegs in square holes. We all know that the man has what it takes. He is stable mentally, physically, emotionally, and well prepared for this job. And is ready to learn. So you cannot be comparing him on those on experimental voyage who are just there because they want to fulfill the quota. It is not, they're not the same thing. So that is why we are so confident that Atiku Abubakar is the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We interact with, today, Atiku had interaction with the youth, being, International Youth Day today. And you can see youth from all walks of life, from the south, from the east, from everybody happy and showing enthusiasm is high, that there's hope for Nigeria. Without Atiku, then we can pack up.
All right. So I'm very sure that you're someone who is conversant with the social media, and not on social media alone. There seems to be a wave in the political climate in Nigeria. And it's some kind of new thinking about people saying, this is how we want things to look like. Go and collect your PVC. There is a new passion in Nigerians thinking that 2023 has a lot of potentials for them. And for those who have said, this might not be in the favor of your party and perhaps the ruling party. And these are some of the arguments. I mean, it might not be totally correct, but there's those of the school of thought that believe that the wave is against the establishment, which is the APC and the PDP. Is your party worried about that kind of wave and perhaps how it might sweep your party away from the contest?
To start with, Sheon, there is no wave. What you have is an euphoria. What you have is an euphoria, a created euphoria. And I want to tell you that everybody shouting Peter Obi on social media. But let me even tell you, Peter Obi is a fantastic Nigerian. I have tremendous respect for him. And I've said it before, he is a fantastic person. But this is not his time.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by this is not his time, this is not his time. He doesn't have what it takes now to unify this country. Even before you start talking about the economy, you need peace. You need to build trust.
What does it take to unify? What does it take to unify the country that Peter Obi does not have?
It takes Atiku to unify this country.
So Atiku
it takes a man that will be trusted in the north, in the south, in the east, in every part of this country to unify this country. And today, among all the presidential candidates, Atiku Abubakar is the only one that can be trusted. That nobody will see him as a religious bigot. Nobody will see him as a tribalist. Nobody will see him as an ethnic jingoist. Nobody will see him because from even those of us around him, you can tell.
But if you are saying that it is not Peter Obi's time, what if the people of Nigeria say it is his time?
All you see is euphoria. All those shouting, Peter Obi, Peter Obi. What is the followership of Peter Obi on social media? Even those making those noise, those imaginary noise, they don't even follow Peter Obi on social media. Go to Twitter, go to Instagram handles of Peter Obi. How many people are following him? My brother, we have seen this thing before. Ganifa Emi once ran for the presidency of this country. Facebook went agog. At the end of the day, he got 1,400 votes. Femi Falana, my uncle, ran for the governorship. He's popular. He's known. There was a lot of euphoria like this. In Ekiti, what was his score? So we are not... Peter Obi was in Osun to personally campaign for his governorship candidate. He campaigned for his governorship candidate in Osun in a rally, despite visiting Ekiti, the performance of Labour Party, 2,700 votes, where PDP scored over 400,000. So don't be carried away with this. It's an euphoria. It's an euphoria. And as we are going, now thing is winding down. It's winding down. We are not interested in sending, because we know we are focused. We are very, very focused. We are picturing a future we want to feature in. We are busy on daily basis expanding, understand, our organogram. We're on daily basis expanding our programs for Nigerians. We're on daily basis researching and documenting how to lift Nigeria out of poverty and insecurity. And Atiku is meeting with different segments of the country. He's already preparing himself for office.
Let me take you to this area, because as much as we cannot discuss too much about campaign matters and we can't dig too much into manifestos, because this is not just a time to be doing all of that, but we can discuss policy issues. Now, one of those areas that a lot of people might be interested in is also the personalities of those who are seeking office and whether or not they can trust their character, because it takes people of character to be able to lead a people as diverse as Nigeria. Now, those who have questioned the integrity of your principle, what would you say to that?
Anyway, you see, I don't listen to beer parlor discussions and those lies and propaganda. I don't. Atiku Abubakar has never been indicted by any competent court of law in this country. Atiku Abubakar may have been investigated, but there is no report today in this country indicting him of any criminal conduct or even civil offense. He has not been invited by EFCC. He has not been invited by ICPC. He has not been invited by Code of Conduct. So where do you generate all these stories from? Many will say they read Obasanjo's book, they read this and that. You see, it is true. But let me tell you, a bitter heart cannot give charity. A bitter heart cannot give charity. But what I want to say is that I don't believe in noise making. I believe in facts and figures.
But I mean, you don't.
So the issue of questioning integrity, nobody can question the integrity of Atiku Abubakar.
But what about
Atiku is sound. Atiku is straight, and Atiku has not been indicted.
So, I mean, do you consider the comments as valid, the comments of someone that Elijah Atiku Abubakar worked closely with, like President Obasanjo, or you just simply discountenance whatever Olusegun Obasanjo has said about Atiku Abubakar?
The comments from President Olusegun Obasanjo, I would not want to go into it because whether you like it or not, there was a relationship between Atiku and Obasanjo.
So I'm asking, are they valid? Are they valid?
I'm telling you
no,
that...
Just for a moment.
I just answered,
are those valid? Are those valid comments?
I just answered by saying that you know President Obasanjo. If he had anything on Atiku, understand, they would have taken it up with him. Today, there's nothing he has on Atiku. And vengeful statements because third time did not work, all those kind of statements, they are not what we need right now. And we are not even part of with all those kind of statements.
So you are telling...
We are just focused on making sure that we rescue this country from financial scavengers and economic cankerworms, from those who have taken us down the lane. Atiku is busy developing his position paper. He's busy talking on how the economy will be okay. Atiku is busy on how security can be restored. Atiku is busy on how do we work on devolution of powers, how do we reduce power from the federal and take it down to the grassroots. Atiku is working on restructuring. Atiku is working on education.
Does he have a solution on security?
Sir?
Does he have a solution for security?
He has a masterpiece solution on security.
Is he ready?
Very, very ready. And I can tell you that when I saw what his plans are for the security of this country. My brother, not because I'm an Atiku person. That man is God sent to rescue us from this country. It happened during in year 2000 when Sharia started. Atiku put his neck to it, and Sharia was tackled. It happened in Adamawa. He went all out, and it was tackled. Atiku is a decisive president. He's not a president that will tell you, I'm not aware. He's not a president that would say, I condemn. Atiku will take actions. Now you just showed the president said he's given 2 weeks on the issue of ASU. It's over 3 weeks and nothing happened. This is the first time an executive order or a directive of the president will fall on the ground. More than 3 weeks, nothing happened. Nobody is fired. Nobody is questioned. So the president does say 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks, nothing happened, and everything is going normal. That is not the kind of president Atiku will be. Atiku will be on the field. He will be very decisive. He will not compensate service chiefs who have failed with ambassadorial appointments. He will not do it. Not Atiku.
So when you talked about, we talk about pedigree, we talk about antecedent, and also we talk about capacity, and also past things that some of these leaders have done. In the area of power, electricity, in the area of education, in the area of privatization, there are a lot of people who have questioned the decisions that were made directly or indirectly linked to the office of the vice president when Vice President Atiku Abubakar was in office. Some of those things that have us unsettled and many Nigerians, especially on the state of some of these sectors, that up to now, some of those decisions were regarded as bad decisions.
Anyway, I want to start by saying that Festus Kayamo and other mediocres who say Atiku have no power, surprisingly are the same people saying that Atiku was in charge of privatization, Atiku was in charge of commercialization, Atiku was in charge of the sale of licenses for the communication sector. In one hand, you say the man have no capacity, he has no executive position, he did not take decision. In another hand again, you are saying he was in charge of this, he was in charge of this, he was in charge of that. Having said that, my brother, what Atiku did to make sure that communication, today you have MTN, you have Etisalat, you have Glo, you can carry your phone and call anybody. So, won't you give Atiku Abubakar a credit for that? Won't you give him a credit for that?
What about power?
In the issue of power, I am aware that in 2004, Atiku wrote a memo talking about, as far back as that time, he wrote a memo to the Federal Executive Council asking that power, alternative source of power be tapped. Talking about other sources of power. He pushed it. Again, he went and sourced for a Bat Energy who was supposed to come and help solve our problem. But because of the bitterness between the president and himself that time, even Bat Energy was removed. So I will be surprised for somebody to now say that Atiku was in charge of power when the NIPP project was not under his supervision.
On a final note, Senator Melaye, the year 2023 as an election year has been tagged the year of the youths. I mean, based on the numbers and the demography, the voting population. They said, look, the youth will make a decisive population for this election to know where the direction of the choice will be. Does an Atiku Abubakar resonate with the youth of today, not of 2019? Do they reckon with him as the person that they can relate with? And if so, do you have anything to prove your point?
Yeah, I want to say that from statistics and research work done, Atiku Abubakar is loved by the youth of this country. I told you today there was a program. Today is International Youth Day. And the youth of this country all converged in a hall and had an interactive section with Atiku Abubakar. Then, after that program, all youth from the 36 states, including Abuja, also met today at Shehu Yara Odua Center. And I was there in that program where they endorsed Atiku Abubakar as the candidate of the Nigerian youth. Representative of all the 36 states. They were all there today in the program. This is something you can verify. This is something you can find out at Shehu Yara Odua Center today. Because they have come to see that this is the only man that can give us hope. This is the only man that can take us off the cluster of this NGO called APC. They've come to see that we cannot have a decisive president in Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We cannot have a national president in Obi, but we can have a father figure, a father of the nation in Atiku Abubakar. And it will bring all warring factions together like they did in 1998, 1999, by bringing a government of national unity. And you will see that the tension in the country will come down. Because all this agitation is a result of injustice. And Atiku will correct every injustice in this country.
This was what you did in your social media. You said you are going to break him. That's what you said to Mr. Festus Keyamo. And I'm not sure you meant that literally.
I said that Festus, I'm inviting him to a debate before you.
That's what I'm asking.
And I'm waiting.
Are you committed? Are you committed?
Please, any day, any time. I'm very, very willing and ready. Even if you say come back tonight, I'm ready. Because I will deflate him.
All right.
I will deflate him.
Thank you. We get that commitment, and soon as we should make that happen because of the sake of Nigerians.
We are ready. I'm ready to have it, to judge with, and I'm sure that he's going to leave.
It's going to be on issues.
He's going to leave this studio with his eyes covered.
It's going to be on issues. I promise.
No, definitely issues.
Thank you so much, Senator.
That's what Atiku is about, issues.
Senator Dino Melaye, it's good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming tonight. That's our show for today. Many thanks, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Wakimale. Bye-bye.